Growing up in the early 2000s was a goofy time for movies and pop culture. You had classics like American Psycho, Jeepers Creepers, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, Pirates of the Caribbean, Clock Stoppers, Grind, The Country Bears. If we keep this going, this list is going to get worse and worse. Disney was killing it, and they decided to make 3 movies in that same time period about the rides: Pirates of the Caribbean, Haunted Mansion, and The Country Bears. Of course, most normal people will say The Country Bears is the worst of the bunch, which I completely agree with. But a lot of people will say that The Haunted Mansion is a close second to last. I couldn't disagree more. Allow me to explain. I absolutely loved this movie as a kid, and still today I watch it every couple of months, and it's genuinely one of my favorite comfort movies. I always wondered why people hate it. I guess we're gonna find that out today. Let's refresh ourselves real quick on the plot of the movie. Released in 2003, directed by Rob Minkoff, mostly known for co-directing The Lion King, this movie was written by David Berenbaum, who also wrote Elf, which came out the same year. Good year for him. This movie sees Eddie Murphy playing Jim Evers of Evers and Evers Real Estate, where they want you to be happy for Evers and Evers.
We want you to be happy for Evers and Evers.
They are very successful, but the business causes Jim to often miss family events. To make it up to his wife, he offers to take the family to a nearby lake vacation for the weekend. They get a call about an old mansion that's for sale, so Jim thinks it's best for business for the family to stop and take a look at the mansion and meet the owners. But when they arrive at the mansion, they realize that the storm has flooded the road and there'll be no leaving the mansion tonight.
I'm afraid there will be no leaving the mansion tonight.
The butler, Ramsley, takes Jim to the library to discuss the deal with the owner, but Jim gets trapped in a secret passage. While this is happening, the owner, Mr. Gracie, gives Sarah a tour of the mansion, discussing the past and the death of his supposed grandfather after the supposed suicide of his lover. We then see the kids start following a ghost orb around the mansion and find a painting in the attic that looks suspiciously like their mom, Sarah. The housekeeper identifies the woman as Elizabeth, the lover that Mr. Gracie was discussing. While this craziness is going on, Jim meets more ghosts and meets back up with his kids when he learns that everyone is dead and the mansion is cursed because of Elizabeth and Mr. Gracie's death. The curse would only be lifted if Elizabeth and Mr. Gracie's souls are reunited once again, and everybody in the mansion thinks that Sarah is Elizabeth. You see the issue here. Jim and the kids get sent to the cemetery in the backyard.
You know, they have dead people in the backyard.
They need to find a key that is hidden in the giant mausoleum that will reveal the truth to everybody. They get inside and get the key, but the dead come back. But luckily, they barely escape. The key leads them to a locked chest in the attic, where they find a letter that Elizabeth wrote before her death, which reveals that she wanted to marry Mr. Gracie and that she was murdered. The butler, Ramsley, shows up and reveals he's the one who murdered Elizabeth to prevent their marriage, and it's implied that he did this since Elizabeth was black and Mr. Gracie was white. Ramsley then traps the kids and throws Jim out of the mansion. Meanwhile, Mr. Gracie and Sarah are in the ballroom, and Mr. Gracie starts asking Sarah if she remembers him, while the room fills with ghosts. Of course, Sarah denies it and runs away, leaving Gracie to ask Ramsley if it was truly Elizabeth, to which Ramsley says,
In time she will, sir. I assure you.
of course, he just wants to end the curse. He doesn't care what happens to the family. Sarah's then forced to put on a wedding dress, and then they start the wedding ceremony. Sarah is given a goblet of wine, which is filled with poison because Elizabeth and Mr. Gracie's soul needs to be reunited in death, which means they have to kill Sarah. Jim then re-enters the mansion, saves the kids, and stops the wedding by showing Mr. Gracie the letter and revealing the truth. Furious, Ramsley becomes enraged. But before he can truly attack, he gets dragged into hell and almost taking Jim with him, but he is saved by Mr. Gracie. Sarah then collapses on the floor after being poisoned by Ramsley, and then a ghost orb shows up and possesses Sarah. We then see the worst acting in the entire movie by Eddie Murphy.
Sarah, I love you. Sarah, please, I love you so much.
Not a lot of emotion there, Eddie Murphy, but we're going to move on. Then Sarah is revived. The ghost orb is revealed to be Elizabeth. Elizabeth and Mr. Gracie's soul reunite. Nobody dies. All the ghosts in the mansion go to heaven. The family is given the deed to the mansion, and then they go on a well-deserved vacation. A happy ending indeed. Of course, I may be biased, and no movie is perfect, but I think the plot is fun, and it has some great comedic moments. All right, now you're all caught up with the plot. Let's move on to the cast. Playing Jim Evers of Evers and Evers Real Estate.
We want you to be happy for Evers and Evers.
We have the very interesting casting choice of Eddie Murphy. Why did they choose him? They probably did because he was fresh off of Dr. Dolittle and Shrek, and he was a good box office draw. Honestly, people shit talk his acting, but he brought some great comedy in the delivery of some of his lines. Playing Ramsley the Butler, we have Terrence Stamp, who I know from this movie and General Zod in Superman. He played a pretty solid evil ghost butler, and he makes it pretty easy to hate him. Playing Mr. Gracie, we have Nathaniel Parker, who I know from playing the villain in the Chris Farley overlooked classic Beverly Hills Ninja. God, I love that movie. I really dug his performance because he played a beautiful, mysterious, suave ghost. He was a tortured soul, literally. Playing Sarah Evers of Evers and Evers Real Estate.
We want you to be happy for Evers and Evers.
We have Marsha Thomason, mostly known for playing Sarah Evers of Evers and Evers Real Estate.
We want you to be happy for Evers and Evers.
I'm not shocked that she didn't get launched into superstardom. Her performance here is nothing special, but you know, it's a role that's pivotal to the plot, but she doesn't have a ton of screen time. But she does a pretty decent job. Both of the kid actors went on to do really nothing in Hollywood, but I still think they did a fantastic job. The last notable mention would have to be Jennifer Tilly as Madame Leota. She was fantastic. Absolutely stellar performance on her part. Wrapping up the cast, everybody did a pretty decent job, with an exception of Sarah's performances throughout the movie. Again, they were okay, but nothing special. The other thing that you need to look past is Eddie Murphy's absolutely horrible lack of emotion when he thinks his wife is dead.
I'm back, Sarah. I'm back.
If you can look past all that, you got yourself a pretty fun movie. Folks, I hope you're enjoying revisiting the 2003 classic Haunted Mansion. I love this movie. As you know, I'm making a whole fucking video about it. Folks, if you want to support the channel, you can go to patreon.com/officialjoeyc for all your exclusive Joey C needs. You can also become a YouTube channel member for the same perks and price of Patreon. I would greatly appreciate it. If not, that's okay too. I'm still going to continue to do this. I just want to take a second to thank my Patreon supporters and channel members. I greatly appreciate these folks. All right, enough of the plugging, and let's get chugging. Back to the Haunted Mansion, baby. Let's take a look at the production of this movie. Writing formally began in 2002, and it was originally set in upstate New York, but was changed to New Orleans to be more faithful to the Disney World ride. The mansion scenes were filmed in California, and they actually built the front of the mansion, but the top of the mansion was completely computer generated. The cool Easter egg of the film is the 5 hidden Mickey Mouses that are hidden throughout the movie, similar to the ride and Disney World as a whole. One of them is on the padlock at the mansion's gate. The second one is on an axe-wielding knight that attacks Jim Evers of Evers and Evers Real Estate.
We want you to be happy for Evers and Evers.
The third one is briefly seen when Ramsley poisons a goblet of wine during the wedding ceremony. A fourth one is seen in the library inside the mansion where a couch is in the shape of a Mickey. And the last one is on the windows of the doors that Jim Evers of Evers and Evers Real Estate.
We want you to be happy for Evers and Evers.
Runs past while he's being chased by a gaggle of ghostly musical instruments. I love a good Easter egg. It's also important to note that the costume department wanted to make the zombies very realistic, but executives wanted them to tone it down to not be too frightening for viewers, which didn't work out at all because this zombie scene scared the living fuck out of my little sister growing up. The set design was pretty beautiful in this movie. The mansion interiors just look breathtaking. So this movie really took great care in convincing viewers that they actually filmed inside of a giant mansion. Checking out the box office numbers, this movie was filmed on a $90 million budget, which is much bigger than I thought it would be, honestly. And most of it probably went to Eddie Murphy and building the set. It went on to make $183 million, which is a huge success. Taking a look at the Rotten Tomatoes score, we see that this movie has a 14% on the tomato meter and a 31% on the popcorn meter, formerly audience score. And I gotta be honest with you, that's very upsetting, but it's also not really that shocking because everybody that I talk to about this movie says this movie is horrible. I'm just upset. One critic said, and I quote, "While it may supply giggles and shivers to preteens, grown-ups should think twice before entering this all-too-haunted house." No shit! It's a movie for kids, for God's sakes, and me. I have the critical thinking skills of a 4-year-old. That's what the internet tells me. Roger Ebert said, "The Haunted Mansion isn't that it's based on a Disney theme park ride, but that it has ambition. It wants to be more than a movie version of the ride. And I expected a series of non-stop action sequences. But what I got was a fairly intriguing story and an actual plot that is actually resolved. That doesn't make the movie good enough to recommend, but it makes it better than the ads suggest." Discussing the legacy of the movie, it was considered a critical failure. It has grown an appreciative audience over time and has a small bit of a cult status early 2000s film, which I agree with. You know, and I truly think this may be a movie that you remember in bad taste, but I think you, as an adult now, if you are one, you should truly give this movie another rewatch and rejudge it yourself, because I think it's a fantastic movie. It has a lot of laughs, and the line delivery in some of these lines is unbelievable. And I quote this movie probably every single day with my friends. Apart from the comedic moments, I really think the plot is an incredible story with huge layers that delves into racism, overcoming your fear, and working together with the people that you love. Plus, the plot wraps up nicely, and you have a great setup, middle, and end of the story. It's a nice little package. The plot in and of itself could be used in a legit horror film, and I think it would be pretty good. I think the biggest problem that people had with it is that the movie was very ambitious, and it had to stay inside the constructs of Disney censorship and the Disney ride, which I think held it back a lot. But genuinely, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, give this movie another shot. It's a fun movie to throw on and enjoy in the background. The Haunted Mansion was not as bad as you remember. Folks, thank you so much for revisiting The Haunted Mansion 2003 version with me. I love this movie, and you've probably heard me say it in other movies or live streams in the past, how much I love this movie. I quote this on the daily with all my friends, and for some reason I'm friends with a lot of people who also love this movie, and any other people outside of that circle, they're like, "Oh, that movie's fucking horrible." I don't think so, man. I think you should give it a rewatch, rejudge it yourself, folks. Thank you so much. I already called out the Patreon. I mean, I'm not going to do that again. But if you want to follow me on Twitch, you can go to twitch.tv/officialjoeyc. We do a lot of live streams there. We even play the Haunted Mansion 2003 PS2 game sometimes. That's a lot of fun. Shout out to that game. That game fucking rocks. Folks, if you know something that you want me to revisit or examine in a video game or whatever you want to do, join my Discord. Let me know in the comments below. I just appreciate everybody here. You, wherever you are, on the couch, in the bed, on the toilet, thank you very much. Consider subscribing. We're almost at 5,000 subscribers. If you don't dig this stuff anymore, consider unsubscribing too. It's a two-way street. I understand that. Folks, thank you for watching. I greatly appreciate it. Keep your eye out for the next video, episode, movie, live stream. Whatever it is, man, listen. Cherish the precious moments. Be loved. And stay, dude. I'm out of here. Turn the green screen off. I am so fucking hot, dude. And I'm hungry. I haven't eaten lunch yet, and it's pretty late in the day. So I'm probably going to go make a ham sandwich or something and then edit this video. So I'm going to get out of here. Watch this. I'm going to set the bomb off. 3, 2, 1, go. Wow!
If you decide to join us, make your final arrangements now.